Hello and welcome to Sweet Things. On today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make your own sanding sugar in any color of your choice. Perfect for decorating and creating special glittery effects on all of your cakes and cupcakes. Enjoy this tutorial. For today's tutorial, you're going to need a teaspoon, food coloring of your choice. You can preferably use liquid. I don't use liquid and therefore I don't have it at home. I'm just using a Mary color deep pink and it's a gel, and it's the gel kind. You definitely don't want to use the dust one, the powder one, because it won't work. You only want to use the gel, and I will show you how to dilute it and liquefy it so it's better to work with and it doesn't get the sugar all lumpy. I have a shot glass with a tiny bit of water. I have half a cup of just white granulated sugar, preferably the Costa sugar, which is the finest kind of sugar, but this will work as well. I have some sort of a scraper and has all kinds of sides on it. I got it from IKEA. I'm going to use the smooth side. If you have a dough scraper, it will be much better than this, and a knife will also do the job. I also have a little sandwich Ziploc bag, just so we can seal it up and mix our sugar with no problems at all. And I have a baking pan with some parchment paper, just so the sugar doesn't stick when we have to bake it. And I have finally my oven preheated to 170 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we want to dilute our color so it'll get mixed through the sugar much better, because gel food coloring has a tendency to kind of get all lumpy inside the sugar, and it won't mix as well as liquid. And since I don't have liquid, I'm going to make one myself. Alright, so we're going to dilute our color ourselves. Now, you can use whichever color you like. I'm just going to make pink today because this is what I need, so just for your reference. So I'm taking my little shot glass, and this might be a little too much water, so I'm just gonna spill some. Alright, so I have this really tiny bit of water. All this that you see here is the bottom of the glass. It's not actually water. I have really like a tiny bit. And I'm gonna put approximately 2 drops of it. Oh, okay. So I have it here. You can see the pink in the middle. Now I'm going to take the handle of my teaspoon. I'm just going to stir it around. And as you can see right now, it's pretty much pink water, and I don't want that, so I'm going to spill some more. So I'm left with a really tiny bit of water. I'm going to add some more food dye. Thank you. Alright, and then I'm going to mix it again. Make sure you don't see any lumps. Of the gel food dye that we put in there, and now I think it's pretty much okay. So you can see it's kind of pinkish reddish. It's going to be fine though. So now I'm going to take my Ziploc bag, I'm going to take it open, and I'm going to put all of my, if it will want to open, I'm going to put all of my Costa sugar or my granulated white sugar in here. So this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to put my liquid food dye that I made myself. Take in mind the color might change if you do liquefy your own gel food coloring, but that is fine. So now you want to seal the bag and make sure there's no air, otherwise the bag will sort of like explode. So now that I have no air in my bag, I'm just going to work the liquid in, and I'm going to dye my sugar. Just pushing. The motion you want to use is like pushing with your fingers all the way through, sort of like giving the color, the bag, a massage. that's what you want to do. I'm just punching it a bit. So I'm pretty happy. I've got like this neon pink. I think it's gorgeous. What I'm going to do now is take my baking pan right here, and I'm going to spill all of my sugar right in here. Now you see how it comes in lumps? That's what we're going to get rid of in a second. Just get rid of any little itty bitty piece of sugar. You don't want to waste anything. And keep that bag right next to you. You're going to use it in the next couple of minutes. So now I'm going to take my dough scraper. And you see how that came in lumps? That's because we used actual water on the sugar, and it will happen to you if you do use liquid food coloring. Now we want to take our sugar and just use a scraper and slowly break it out, going vertically and creating some sort of like a web or a net pattern on my sugar, and that will prevent the sugar from caramelizing in the heat of the oven, because we won't put it in a mound. We put it in one even layer that will cook evenly and give us and let all the moisture that we put into the sugar out. Alright, so I'm happy that my sugar is well spread, and you do need to make sure that it is. You do need to make sure that it is, and you have this like crisscross pattern all over it. That's when you know it's ready, and when it's pretty thin layer. I'm going to put this for 10 minutes in the oven. Now, the oven is quite moderate and the time is not long, but this is not something that needs to be baked. Therefore, you don't need to increase the heat or to put it for more than 10 minutes. Trust me, this will work. Okay, so let's get this baby into the oven, and I'll be back once it's done. So I've got my pink colored sanding sugar out of the oven. As you can see, the pan is really hot, so I can't touch it yet. I'm gonna let it sit here just until it cools, or in a cooling rack, maybe just until I can touch the pan. You don't wanna let it sit way too much, because then from the heat of its own pan, the sugar will actually stick together and you won't be able to make sanding sugar out of it. It will be just like a pack of colored sugar. So make sure it is touchable, and then we can start working. All right, so my baking pan is now touchable. It is not at all warm. I've left it just like this to cool. And in the meanwhile, I took a little glass bowl. I have my Ziploc bag, which we stirred the sugar in with the color before. I have the same cup that we used. I have the scraper again, and I also am bringing a rolling pin. This is just a wooden one. I like how heavy it is. Alright, so the next step after your sugar is cold, we need to break it up again, just like we did before. So we need to go like this. Alright, so now I do still have some chunks of sugar, and that is where I need my Ziploc bag. So I'm just going to take the same Ziploc bag. You don't need another one, just prep it on the side right here. And then we're going to take one corner of the baking paper and the corner that is against it, and then select it into a triangle. So I have a bit of a control over the spillage of the sugar. I'm just going to spill it right into the Ziploc bag. So I do have it, and I still can see the chunks. So what I'm going to do now is seal it again, and I do have sugar here, so make sure you clean that so the Ziploc bag seals properly. So just do it like this. Make sure you squeeze all of the air out of the bag, seal it firmly, and put it on your bench. Kind of spread it around a bit, and then take your rolling pin, and preferably you would use a rolling pin that's rotating on its own handles. That would give you better control. And now you just want to roll the sugar. That puts it back in its natural form of sugar, fine sugar rather than chunks. And it makes it just the same sugar we started with before, just pink or whichever color you choose. Alright, I think that's enough. I'm just going to take a close look at it. I think my sugar is finally back, so I'm going to take my presentation plate, or my, if you want to use like a container, and pour it all in. Alright, so this is my sanding sugar. I really love the way it looks because of the heat from the oven and the caramelization process that had just started, but it was only 10 minutes. The sugar had got like a sheen or a gloss, which is really, really nice. I really like it. As far as storage goes, you can put it in an airtight container or return it back into the Ziploc bag and store it somewhere dry and cool, and which is not so much exposed to light, and it will save, it'll be perfect anytime you want to use it for the next year, just like any sugar would, just in color, so you can make it any color you want. And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Subscribe if you did, and I hope to bring you many other great tutorials, even with this sanding sugar. And if you would like that, please thumbs up this video, and again, subscribe. So thank you. Bye bye.